Good afternoon or good morning to everybody out there that's joining us on the TZE. This is episode number 20, and boy, we've got an exciting episode today. We're excited to share. It's his first time, or one of his first times being on a podcast like this. So we're honored that he has joined us today, and I'll introduce our guest, Marty Parker, a little more in a minute. But if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, and someone that listens to us frequently, thanks for all you do. Thanks for listening to us. If you're not subscribed and you want to follow us, there's multiple ways to do that. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple. Heck, you can go in and Google TZE and you'll find all of our different media outlets that this plays on. And so we're thankful to have you, thankful for you to spend a few minutes with you, and we never take that for granted. Just thanks out there to the audience. We've had a lot of fun with this in 2023, and this is our second episode we're taping in 2024. So Jordan and I have had a lot of fun with this and all of our guests. So thank you on that. And without further ado, I always go in and I give a little background of our guest. And today we've got you all hear this theme often. We've got what I consider a friend and a business colleague, and just an amazing person, a good person, somebody that came into my life about 3 or 4 years ago through a connection with Drew Eubank, one of the other co-founders, and is now on our external advisory board. We support him in some of his initiatives that he'll share with you later today through some of his professional endeavors at the University of Georgia, supply chain college, Terry College of Business. I probably butchered that. And just a good human being, good person, Marty Parker. And let me give you a little background on Mr. Parker. He's currently got a couple companies, and I won't give near enough color to this, Marty. So you're going to have to share and fill in the blanks. But today, his current 2 jobs are he's a senior lecturer at the University of Georgia, the Terry College of Business, or Terry. You can get that in a minute, Marty. I'm sure I'm messing it up, but the business school at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs, right? We got some stuff. Show them your logo, Marty. Show them the dog. Go Dogs. And then he's recently just started and made a new career, a new company called Adaept Advising that we're excited for him to share some more with us about it today. And I'm going to give you a little bit of Marty's background. So he has many roles and responsibility, but there's one motto that guides all of his endeavors and everything he does. It's to help students and companies grow and succeed. Marty's the senior lecturer at the University of Georgia. Here it is right in front of me. Terry College of Business in the supply chain management and MBA programs. He teaches a variety of classes. Marty also, as we said, recently launched his new venture, Adaept Advising, which aims to revolutionize business consulting with a mission to guide you on the best path forward, tailor-made for your success. A few of Marty's accomplishments include being recognized with the 2023 Outstanding Terry Faculty Service Award, the 2023 Hugh O. Nurse Outstanding MBA Teacher Award, the 2021 Outstanding Terry Teaching Award, and the 2020 Leanne Sewell Faculty Recognition Award while lecturing at the University of Georgia, the Terry College of Business. He is also responsible for launching the University of Georgia Supply Chain Advisory Board, which Zion's part of. Drew and I served in that capacity on it, and crafting and executing many successful supply chain programs through consulting and his work as a fractional COO. So Marty, I gave a good background in there. Welcome to the show. Hopefully we don't have any first show jitters. I think you're going to just do awesome at this. I told him it's easy. We were cracking up a little at some jokes that we probably should have recorded before we got here, but welcome to the show, Marty, and just fill in the blanks. Did we do a good job of giving a background on Marty, and what else would you like our audience to know?
Yeah, so you did a great job, Jimmy, and thrilled to be here. Love Zion, love what you guys are doing and kind of automating and changing the world in supply chain. I had a long career and worked in several different industries, and then at just one point in my life wanted to give back. And my mom was a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher. Terry College of Business approached me, And it's been life-changing for me. And I just follow that motto. I help students and companies grow and succeed. And after teaching for about a year, I worked as a partner at TZE, as you know, doing fractional C-suite consulting in supply chain and manufacturing companies, helping them, with inventory management, implementing ERPs, looking at improving their e-com. Drew came in to help me with a project on that. And, now I am, at my age, believe it or not, starting a new business where I'm going to do less sort of what I would call C-suite consulting and more almost matchmaking, where someone is in, they have to do supply chain, they have to do manufacturing, they don't know what they're doing. Maybe their background sales and marketing. I have a ton of friends like you in this industry, and I'll do an assessment and match them up with the right people. So that now I'm a founder and CEO. So in a process of discovery as a person, a continuous learner, and thrilled to be here with you guys.
That's awesome. Jordan, You got anything you want to jump? We were talking about I dominate all the yapping all the time, but you got anything you want to hit off with first before I start asking some questions?
Yeah, I'll just start with congratulations, Marty, of you've had a very successful career and you heard the awards, and I've known you now for probably a couple of years and just enjoy our conversations, and I respect and appreciate what you do from the Terry College of Business, and we've actually had the fortunate ability to take on some of your previous students and work with them, and they're nothing but outstanding. So
thank you.
They speak for your work and what you do, and congratulations on launching the company and being the founder and CEO. It's exciting. Looking forward to it. Know you'll do great, and appreciate you do all with us. So, so that's just a little bit of background of our relationship. But so just really more so congrats on everything you've done so far. Yeah.
Thank you. And to you all as well. I mean, you've been through this now for several years, and I've watched your journey and learned a lot from you as well. And it's just exciting to see what Zion is doing. And my students intern there, they work there, they love it there. They love the culture there. They love working with you. And you are right at the cutting edge of what's happening in the supply chain. With all the newest and latest, greatest technologies, which I talk about in class. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we've actually got, so we call him Georgia Jake because we've got about 3 or 4 Jacobs now. So Georgia Jake is our second producer of the podcast show. He took over for Jacob McMillan and just hadn't missed a beat. He's in the background right now, but they're both came from the program. So Marty, before I dive into
by the way, they both worked for me first.
Did they? Well,
they were both interns at Rainy Compression Essentials.
Well,
there we go.
Yeah, so I know both of them really well.
Well, listen, Jake spent some time with me yesterday, so Jake and I got to meet. And what I learned about Jake, I know he's backstage listening, is we're going to get him working and golfing less because he's a +2 handicap in golf. So, Jimmy, just so you know, I'm a 10. I've been playing my whole life. I've never even thought about being plus anything. So that's phenomenal. He's a very good golfer now. I won't play him.
Are you a +10 or is it negative? How does that work? See,
so
I'm not a golfer.
If we play, I've been playing for 30 years. And if Jake and I play from the same tees, he's given me 12 shots in 18 holes. So put it in perspective. Yeah.
Did you trust but verify this, or are you just going straight off of?
This is just straight trust. It was a good conversation. It was engaging, and I'm taking them at face value. Yeah, we'll have to verify at some point. We'll get a little Zion outing and get them out.
I wonder what I'd be if I came out and played.
Well, I think the highest handicap's a 36. It's probably where you'd be.
I'd probably be there.
Right, 36. Yeah.
There we go.
Right. I'm taking Jake again to the Masters Golf Tournament to improve their supply chain. This is our 5th year, and Jake's 2nd year.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for one of the students that knows something about golf. So he's going to be my golf expert to tell me who all the younger players are, because I'm sure he keeps up with it.
Yeah, and what an
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. Definitely want to talk about the Masters some. If I have any beef with Marty Marty Parker. It's like, in the 2 years, it's never even been mentioned other than I'm going to the Masters and here's what I'm doing. So we might just have that. We got the stage right here, but we'll talk about that because it's cool. I think that'd be an awesome experience. And Jordan's been with his dad. They've had that opportunity to share that together and be there. And I'm not a golf guy. I got into it like a lot of people probably did when Tiger first hit the stage, and it was just kind of exciting and I think it brought in a new audience, and I enjoyed it then. But I am an experienced person. Part of our mission or part of our vision is I love a good experience, and I think Augusta probably has to be one of the top 5 experiences in golf, right? I mean, you think about St. Andrews and some of the others, but it has to be an experience.
Well, I remember one year I called it the best golfing event in the world, and I learned that they think of themselves as the best sporting event in the world. And there are aspects of it, like the best bathrooms, as an example, that you'll ever see at any sporting event anywhere. Mm-hmm. Spotless, always spotless. Just an awesome experience. And we get to go Sunday to Sunday. And the students are consultants, and each year we get to see the improvements that the students have recommended. And it's a world-class organization. They're best in the world at what they do, and my students love it, and they work really hard. Jake will tell you how hard he had to work, but they also learn a lot because they're doing real supply chain consulting work.
It's awesome. Jacob, when he was on one time, we talked about his experience, I think when he came off of it last year, and he just talked about the amount of revenue and gifts it's crazy how it is and how efficient it has to be. So
never seen a pro shop or golf shop like that in my life. The size, the amount of people, but man, it runs like a top. It's just, you get in, if you want to get out, you get out. You got a little FedEx booth right next door. If you want to lug it around all day, you can ship it home. It was one of my top 5 experiences for me, beyond just golf. It's hard to put into words. Augusta National. Yeah. But anyways,
that's awesome.
I think we can get into some
of
the
back
questions.
on track. Well, yeah. I want to stay off track just a little bit. I think I saw where you had some family stuff going on recently, Marty. Did we have a wedding, or you want to talk a little bit about your family? I'm a big family guy, so I think it's important people know family's important to you.
I have 2 daughters, Rachel and Becca. Rachel got married in December to Matthew Williamson, and we love him to death. And Becca's getting married in June to Jack Osmer, who has a wonderful job. He does digital marketing for the Falcons. He's got an amazing job. The wedding was December 9th up in Dahlonega, and Matthew was crying and I was crying. We just love him to death. But like all weddings, we did have one issue at the reception. There's always an issue at a wedding, right? And this guy, I think he'd been drinking a little too much and got a hold of the mic from the DJ, and he was singing like James Brown and Elvis. Now it was me, but I set you up, didn't I?
Yeah. That's great. I'm going to go completely off. Well, congratulations on that. I know family's important.
And if you want to splice my song into the podcast, we can certainly.
I need to connect you with Big Jim, because I took him to a wedding in Germany for an exchange student with us, and Big Jim never drinks. Never. I've seen him drink twice in my life, both at weddings. Neither outcome was good. The first one, I heard him the next morning, and it sounded like an ogre dying in the background. And the second one was, I looked over, and he had been harassing the German DJ to play the twist. And he finally got him to play it, and I looked over, and he was out dancing. I've never seen my dad dance either, so he danced. And I look over about 4 songs after the twist is off, and he's over by himself in the corner still twisting. And so,
well, hey, I just want to be clear. I am the king of karaoke. So I can sing James Brown, a go-to is Brick House,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra, Elvis, Beyonce. I don't care. I'm going to sing it, and I'm going to sing it well. I'll send you the video. I think you'll be
We need
impressed.
the video. We may just
I would like to see
incorporate
it.
that in.
That's right.
Put
the
that right
podcast.
in here.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's awesome, man. I always respect people. I mean, family's important to Zion. Families, we're a family company, and just the people we interact with is. I think you end up finding yourself. You hear often that you're the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and it's really true. If you want to see who you are and how you are, look around at who you hang out with, and our partners, our advisors, our friends like you, Marty. We just, I think there's commonality, and family's at the core of it. For me, and one of the cores for me and Jordan as well. And so let's turn the page. How did you get into teaching? So you, how long have you been doing it? You've obviously are very skilled at doing it. Your kids love you. You're a connector. You're a relationship guy. You're giving them real world experience. How did you get into teaching? And how long have you been doing it? And just a little bit on that journey.
Yeah, so this is my 8th year at UGA after a long, successful career in industry and manufacturing and supply chain. And so I show a video, and I do this thing called a life lecture where I actually tell the story. But I was in my car driving near here in one of those thunderburst storms, and trees are swaying, and next thing I know, we're driving along about 35 miles an hour, and a tree hit our car. And my daughter and her best friend Kelsey was in the back. And this is on my LinkedIn, by the way. You can see the video. I was the first time I was ever on the news, and it accordioned the car. The tree hit the front, the largest branch hit the trunk, and we walked out unscathed. And that your life flashes before your eyes. What really occurred. And shortly after that is when Terry approached me, and I went to my wife and said, hey, I've always wanted to teach. Would you support a 300% pay cut for me to do this? And Beth was all in. And so we downsized the house, downsized the cars, did all the things you got to do to give back. Now, with consulting, that's changed, but that was the decision then. And I later found out it's called something. It's called an encore career. If you Google encore careers, a lot of people in their late 40s, early 50s, you get to this point where you're thinking about, well, what is my legacy? You're thinking about significance. There was, I forget the name of the book that's about that, Halftime, book called Halftime, talks about that. And I'd read the book at 40 and it didn't make any difference. I read it in my 50s and it got my attention. What is my legacy? What am I leaving behind? And I'd made sort of building products and stucco for 23 years. So suddenly I'm given this opportunity to do what I wanted to do and love, and one of the best decisions I've ever made. Best decision was marrying Beth. Second best decision was taking this job at UGA.
I just wrote that book Halftime down because I feel like I'm kind of at halftime right now, but that's pretty cool. And
I think the author is Bob Buford. I can't remember completely, but it's an easy read and it really gets your attention.
Yeah, I really love the statement of like you get to a point. I call it, if you've ever seen The Matrix, I think you get to certain points in your career and life or in a sport you play, and it's kind of like you've cracked the code to the Matrix. And I feel like the last couple of years, I've gone through that experience. We had, starting Zion, working with people I love every day, just truly enjoying what we do, whether it's craziness or it was getting it started. But you start seeing things a little more clearly, and you can really, if you can envision pushing stuff over, it's like that may have had my attention at one point, but it's not who I am now and not what I want to do now. And this over here is more of, I don't know what I've really put it in terms of legacy, but it's I want to do work that's worth doing, is what I call it in my personal mission statement. It's like, man, you just gravitate to not going to do that, not going to do this, and it takes change. It's like you said, it's you find out, and you get to a place, you got the house, you got the cars, and you have to make a significant life change. And I love that you involved Beth, your wife, and I don't know if I met Beth, but I think good men have a better half at home usually that help balance them out, because us men can be crazy sometimes with what we want. But that's a cool story. So 8 years. You met Drew. I'm going to incorporate Drew, since the big guy's feeling a little bad. I talked to him about 5 minutes before this. He's got a little bit of the flu, and he's got a little pneumonia set in, and he's not feeling real good, and he's getting better. He told me he's all right, but he told me to tell you hi. But that's how we met. I think this relationship, ultimately the thread that pulled this group together. And how'd you and Drew meet? I don't know I don't remember the story if I've heard it.
Yeah, I'd been teaching about a year, and Drew called the department head and say, "Hey, I really want to get involved in UGA and get back," and found out Drew's background in supply chain. So he introduced us. Drew was my first guest lecturer, and the students just loved Drew. And Drew really is the basis now for all the guest lectures I have, because students see, 10,000 PowerPoint presentations from professors, and Drew came in and just talked to them and asked them questions. You've seen him in action.
Yeah.
And it was very dynamic. They really enjoyed it. He was telling stories, and he's been guest lecturing every year in my class now for 7 years. And so I followed his career, became friends, gave him advice along the way. I remember he was talking to me about Zion. I was like, go for it. I mean, that's amazing. And so, and he would coach and mentor students too, even before Zion, meet with them, connect with them on LinkedIn, talk to them about their careers. So that's how we got to know each other. That's
awesome. That is awesome. So let's roll this into one of our questions that we had. It's like, so you've taught, you've done a lot, you've had a lot of your career. It's probably hard to narrow this down, but maybe what's one of your favorite accomplishments at the school at this season of life? Like what's one of your favorite accomplishments from the teaching that you've done?
Yeah, from teaching, I would say, well, teaching is the biggest accomplishment. Because I hadn't taught before, so I had to learn how to do it. So I watched the best in the world. So I've had to teach myself how to do marketing, teach myself, I'm a chief marketing officer as much as I am a chief operating officer. I'll teach myself SAP. I mean, all the kind of things I've had, and you know what I'm talking about. But
for sure.
even leadership, but I had to teach myself how to teach. And so I watched courses from Stanford, courses from MIT, courses from all the best programs that I could find in operations management, and then got feedback, made it more experiential. I think the Supply Chain Advisory Board, if I had to pick one thing, you've been there. It's the fastest growing, probably the second highest revenue board for UGA. We nearly doubled the salaries of the students coming out, and now they get multiple job offers. It's a who's who of leaders, vice presidents and CEOs of King's Hawaiian and Home Depot and Augusta National and Central Garden and Pet and Zion Solutions Group. And I mean, it goes on and on and on. And they are active in our program, and our students are working at their companies as interns and full-time. So I think that board and then, Jake and Jacob are both leaders and have both been leaders on that board. And the students now run it, and they do an amazing job taking care of all the details. So if I had to pick one thing, I think that would be it.
That's awesome. I think it goes back into your motto of, your one thing is to help students and companies grow and succeed. So for me at least, I'm part of several different boards. So I didn't go to the University of Georgia, but what a beautiful campus. I've told Jordan, I don't think we've gotten you down there yet, have we, Jordan? But
The camp, no, I've been down in the campus, but just touring, just walking around. Yeah.
Man, it's such a beautiful camp. I went to the University of Louisville, and it's unique in how the business school and what you've done in the supply chain. It is a paid advisory position, but there's so much value and benefit out of it. And I think I'd call it an ecosystem. So you've got young students learning how to be professionals that do the work, and they do an outstanding job at it. And then you've got reception and networking events, and there's value added back, and ultimately it's the circle of life. You've got students helping, you give a platform to the companies like us. We were able to be a keynote speaker there a couple of years ago, and it's connecting. So there's companies that connect with each other, and that's what life's about, relationships. But then it's providing an avenue for your students, and I think that's something to be super proud of, and that it was your idea, and that the ecosystem you've built. And you almost, if you went to another school and you didn't know about it, you almost wouldn't know how cool of a thing it is that you really got there. If somebody's listening, what would you encourage a company or an individual? Maybe how could they get in touch with you about this, and maybe plug in, and maybe we'll put this in the show notes too. But are you accepting new companies? Are you looking for people to grow? I mean, is there still space?
So first, it wasn't my idea. It was Bob Vandenberg, the department head, and then I executed the idea.
Sweet.
But I would say you can Google UGA Supply Chain Advisory Board. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You know, I'm an influencer, supply chain influencer on LinkedIn. Marty Parker, UGA, get to me that way. So there's any number of ways that you can get to me. I'm all over the internet, as you're aware. You can tweet with me. I mean, I'm Supply Chain Dog on Twitter. There's a whole bunch of ways to reach me.
And we'll share this with the audience. It'll be in the show notes. Georgia Jacob, he's taking notes right now. I see him in the background taking notes. He's got it. Gave me a thumbs up. So I like that supply chain influencer. I might start calling myself that on LinkedIn. As I'm a supply chain influencer on LinkedIn. Not really, but you do a great job with that. So, let's get in. Today's episode is really supposed to be about sustainable. I believe that's what we call it. Let me see. Is reducing waste in the supply chain. So we've spent 30 minutes talking and just having fun, which is what we do. But let's dive in and maybe hit this at a high level, Marty, of just saying what are some of the things you're seeing, you're teaching your students about. Take it wherever you want, but waste in the supply chain. We know there's lots of it, and some companies have figured this out, others haven't. But what's some maybe top waste that you see in the supply chain, and just some advice or tools or guidance, or the 3 to 5 minute elevator speech on how do you get rid of waste in the supply chain?
So that's a very complicated question. But I'm going to try to give you a succinct answer. First, we all can impact that, right? We make decisions daily about the choices that we're making, and I'm going to talk about some of those kinds of choices that we make. The biggest one I like to talk about is circularity, and not many people understand this or talk about this. It's kind of newer thinking. I've learned a lot from my kids about this, honestly, but I teach a case on Herman Miller. And if you're familiar with like the Aeron chair or the Mira chair with Herman Miller, they last forever. They literally last forever. You can refurb them, resell them. So instead of over your life sitting in 10 or 15 terrible, cheap chairs that you have to throw away, buy one and have it forever. So that is probably one of the biggest impacts that we can make and decisions that we can make by buying high quality tools, by buying high quality clothes. There was a great article today. I'll send it to you. Wall Street Journal talking about how furniture is becoming garbage. people are buying these $3,000 sofas that in like 2 years, you're sinking into them. They're just not built the way they were. And you're having now to buy a sofa every 2 or 3 years. It used to be those things could last 15, 20 years. So we have to do that. I think the other thing for me is to look at your entire supply chain, just not your little piece, but go all the way back into your suppliers and the practices they have and the decisions they're making, all the way down to making it easy for your consumers to use your product, return it, those sorts of things. But the last thing I would tell you is and how to solve some of the problems. But I implemented ISO 14001. So 14001 is a standard that will require you as a company to improve continuously over time and to measure your supply chain and measure all your outputs and improve them. And there's another company that used to be on my board, EcoVadis. And back in the day, if I wanted to check on a supplier, I had to schlep on a plane and see if they had sustainable practices. You don't have to do that anymore with EcoVadis. They have a scoring system, and they audit and rate and make sure that your supply network is sustainable and score that. So I teach that as a case too, because it's so much better today with sort of the technology and accountability that you can have in this. So those are the things that I teach about on a high level.
Gotcha. You think about like just the example you gave, it's if you sell a product as a business owner, the incentive is not there to have a product that lasts forever. I mean, you think Apple has conditioned us, and maybe a bad example, but their software after, every 3 to 5 years, or really it's 2, probably they've conditioned to get rid of this and get you a new one, get the latest and greatest, which, you think about software, that hardware, I can see that, but software, you would think you could update it. And you think about a chair that you sell one that lasts forever. That's how do companies balance this need of growth and revenue and that while balancing it with the known fact of waste. Like it almost seems like the incentive for a company would be to create a couch that doesn't last longer than 3 years, and then you force the consumer to have to go get another one. But there's a bigger cause and effect of that type of attitude or manufacturing practice or consumer behavior, right? So how would if you told me that to build a chair that lasts forever, I'm like, Marty, man, there's a finite number of chairs I can sell in this world. So how do I diversify my business, right?
Well, first I'd say it's a wildly successful company, right? So people pay a premium for it. So you're going to pay $1,500 for an Aeron chair instead of a $99 Staples chair, right? So and people are willing to do that within the niche of people that care. It used to be folks from my generation didn't care all that much, frankly, but kids and younger people care about that. They care. They buy Lululemon because the nylon is plant-based, not oil-based. They pay $150 for something that they could have gotten for $20, but that same thing they bought could last forever. And so it actually, Ben and Jerry's does this, Coca-Cola does this. I got a couple of great examples from Chick-fil-A that I can talk about as the best examples of this. So these are successful, high margin companies. And think about like the things you sell. You're not going to pick the worst, cheapest conveyor company. You're not going to pick the worst, cheapest controls software company or whatever robotics and logistics, because your reputation is at stake. And so, and you want a premium position as well. With Zion, you don't want to be known as the fly by night. So Jimmy, it's a longer time horizon. And just as an example, in the US, a lot of public companies are looking for 2-year paybacks. I worked for a German company that talked about 10-year paybacks. So if you, on environmental thinking, begin to extend your time horizon, you're going to get paid back. Just extend it and think clearly about your pricing strategy, because there is a significant niche, a significant marketplace of people that will pay a premium. And I know you know that from the selling cycle of what you do. Hey, you can go with that cheaper one. It's not going to last. Go with what Zion's putting together for you. It's going to last.
Right. It's a good call that you have. Just thinking about that. If you think about, we face similar things with ROIs. You know, people typically want 2 to 3 year ROI, sometimes getting to 4, maybe 5 at best case. And a lot of times it's driven from the 3PL market having contracts that are a 3-year renewable. You know, they're starting to extend out to 5, maybe some even at 7. But one thing that we never really talk about is the fact that I could give you a 3-year ROI and then you have to replace it, right? Versus if I give you a 6-year ROI and it's going to last you 10 years, 12 years, well, what does that mean to you? And what is that difference? So we always focus on how quick we get paid back. We don't spend enough time focusing on, well, how long is it really going to last me? So I think that's an excellent point that you bring up that we really don't spend a lot of time on. And I think, you know, we should, and as should others.
Yeah. And looking at the total life cycle cost of something, another example is the company I worked for, Stowe. We sold a paint that lasts twice as long as any other paint, and it costs a lot more. The companies that buy the cheaper stuff, they're not thinking about like the disruption to their customers. Let's say they're painting and renovating a hotel. Well, if I only have to do that every 10 years instead of every 5 years,
right?
You know, they're missing a whole part of the payback calculation. Or Herman Miller, I could have a refurbished business, you know, so I could actually make money on the maintenance, like you all could make money on the ongoing maintenance. And so I think more and more companies are starting to look at it from a bigger, broader perspective. Unfortunately, there will be a subset of kind of commodity product companies that, you know, have very low margins that aren't, but there is going to be a target market of both consumers and companies that think that way.
I think I could spend several minutes talking on this, but I think the sell on the other is easier, but it's more transactional selling. It's selling on price. You're buying on price. And so when I think about it, how it relates to us, I loved how you bring it back in. It's like you got to change the way that you're viewing your return on investment.
Yeah.
And I believe America and some of the demographics and the next generation that's coming up, they care more about how it impacts the environment, what it's going to mean, instead of just its lowest price, make it work, go in. You know, quality was secondary maybe to price, and there were financial factors that outweighed some of the other factors. And you know, Jordan, you sit in sales a lot, and it's harder to quantify your value prop when you're selling like this. But I think as a company, one of the things we do well, and we try to do well, and I think we do it pretty well, is you got to understand there's a certain demographic of customers that are willing to pay for that and buy that, and then you become very focused on that's the customer base, and then you have the confidence and conviction when you meet the customer and it's okay, that's not looking for that, we're not a good fit. And I think we've done that, had the opportunity to do that really well at Zion. It's like we've had conversations with customers of, listen, money's the only thing that really matters to you at the end of the day, and we're not in the business of a transactional money relationship. We feel our value is the softer stuff. How do we help you? And anybody can sell you rack, but can anybody help you lay out your operation? Can they think through the ergonomic needs of workstations? Can they help you design your labels and your location schema? I'm just picking an example. It's more of a commodity buy in our industry, and so I love how you say that. And we see a lot. I was on with a customer yesterday. They've gotten a 20+ year lifetime out of a tilt tray sorter, and they're looking at how do they upgrade it because it's end of life now. It's done its job, they don't make parts for this anymore. The parts are becoming harder. And so now you've got a significant risk where they're looking at how do they upgrade that or change it. But I love this topic. Yeah. Georgia Jake's told me I got about 8 minutes left. So student wise, I think you're going to have a lot of people that are listening to this podcast, I hope, or maybe the snip of this, Marty, is what advice would you have for maybe some of today's students? What are you seeing? What success look like of the students that's coming through your program for 8 years? What type of qualities do they have? What advice maybe do you have for them? I always like to get an educator's view of this.
Ours is not a super technical program in the sense that it's an emphasis with a management degree, which is sort of like an undergrad MBA in a sense. So they take courses in leadership and strategy and finance and marketing, and it's very holistic. And one of the board meetings, I don't think you were there, Jimmy, but the students did a Q&A asking, well, what do we need in the marketplace? And all these super technical VPs didn't say a word that was technical. It was working with others. It was taking initiative. It was being organized. It was being a nice person. It was these kinds of things. So I tell my students the difference between you now and when I see you again in 3 years, because I have them all connect with me on LinkedIn for extra credit and maintain a long-term relationship, is confidence. And so they are awesome, but they don't know it. Jacob didn't know how awesome he was until he started doing stuff and being successful at it. And so trying new things, trying things that you don't know how to do, learning those things. Those are all the kind of things that I teach them that they've got to do. We want people that work well together, and we want people that are part of a team and support that broader team. And our kids get a lot of education and classes in that. They get internships, and then Troy and Jan and I talk about that in our supply chain classes as well.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Jordan. You look like you were.
I was just going to say, I think you hit a key there, and it's confidence. And a lot of people talk about confidence, and a lot of people, hope to have confidence. Some people just don't, and they won't, but that's okay. But when it comes to confidence, it can be challenging to have confidence in a team environment without being arrogant, right? And
correct. I tell them, be assertive, but don't be arrogant.
Right. That's a big difference when you meet somebody that has that confidence, or they are assertive, but they also know how to work within a team environment, right? But also they're okay knowing that, hey, I may not know this, right? I'm going to ask for help because that's okay too. Or knowing when you're wrong and being open to other ideas. And I struggle with it at times, and I try to be aware of that and make it better. But when you find that trio within an individual, to your point, their technical knowledge, that can be taught, that can be trained.
Yep.
Some of those elements, it's a much harder challenge. So
no,
same qualities I think we look for. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the kids are amazing. I've hired probably 30 of them as interns in various businesses I've worked through Tech 6. So it's kind of funny. They see me in the classroom and then they see me at work. And I find them extraordinary. I mean, this, Jacob and Erica Gaddy implemented an ERP system for a company. 2 interns. Are you kidding me? I know companies that have hordes of people that can't do that. So, they're pretty amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I think they get, and again, I don't even know, and they may not realize the opportunities they've got, because I think one of the things that academics needs to change is there's the way academics work and there's the way the real world works. And so that hybrid of let me show you how the real world works and teach you through an academic. I think the education system at the master's levels, like I would have benefited from that. I got that. Internships and co-ops are designed for that, but I've got a small sample, Marty, but you and the teachers are doing something right. The kids that I call them kids or not, they're young professionals, but the ones that are coming, are just, they don't understand their worth. They don't understand how bright they are, and that's the main reason I've supported co-op programs for my entire professional career. One, I was a co-op and I got a lot of value out of it. But two, if you're a company looking to find how do you stay fresh, how do you get new innovative ideas, how do you see the newest technologies coming at you, you know what you need to do? Go get in an intern in a co-op program, because these young professionals are so smart, and that's what we've gotten. Georgia Jacob, Erica worked for us for a stint. I'm missing somebody that worked for us. My memory's getting bad, but you and Maddie worked for us for a little bit, and we've just gotten so much value out of it. So kudos to you and the staff that's doing it. And I've got an idea. Maybe one of these next, you and Jake can take this back, is maybe the students would do well to have some type of sit down panel. We'd be glad to participate in it, of like, hear from Jake and Jacob and Erica, if we could get them all back and make time to say, what did they get out of their experience working with a company like Zion? And we could do a panel.
Sounds like another podcast for you.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome, because it's, sometimes you got to experience it. And we feel like we're different. I think they would probably share that. We've got a big focus on, and companies out there, you got to embrace these co-ops and interns are not people that come in and you do all my busy, the crap work, for a less word to use, is give these kids and give these professionals a challenge, give them the opportunity to grow in it. And in fact, it takes more effort. It certainly takes effort. Jake and I talk once a week, and that's 30 minutes or an hour I could be spending on something else, but man, the investment's so worth it. And thank you for what you do there, Marty. But I mean,
the students that are miserable in their internships are bored.
Yes.
So I always try to give them way more than they can ever do, and a way to sort of track how to do it, and somehow they watch YouTube videos and they figure it out. They read and figure it out. So you want to challenge them for sure.
Jake's got about 100 tasks, and I keep sending him 4 emails every day and telling him to add it to a list, because I'll forget I sent 4 emails on it, and he's doing absolutely fabulous with it. So well, let's wrap this up. Marty, I want to give you the opportunity at the end. You talked a little bit about Adaept. Do you want to plug it anymore? Do you want to share any more on it? I'm super excited for it.
I'll be honest with you. It's companies that, so I'm creating affiliates that I know they're dear friends. They have great businesses that can help in the supply chain, in manufacturing, in service operations. And then I have people that are looking for help with that, but they don't know where to go. So I've got a couple of clients right now. So yeah, I'm revenue and profit positive right out of the gate, which is nice. And the way it'll work is I'll just look at the supply chain issue, the service ops issue, or the manufacturing issue, and rather than do sort of the hardcore work myself, I'm going to match them up with the people that can help them do it. I've spent a long time doing the work myself, but now I know who they need to talk to. So I'm building partnerships to be able to put that together. And I'll be honest with you, I'm doing it with people that I like, people that I want to work with, people that I know that are going to do good work, because my reputation will be on the line. Really excited about it. And you'll see more. I'll be creating content about the partners that I've signed, the affiliates that I've signed, and helping them get the message out about what they do, but also creating through my own efforts and my own marketing efforts to help the people that have problems in this space. So supply chain, people don't realize, is a helping profession. They just don't realize it. They figured it out during COVID when they couldn't get their stuff. And, we're helping people get their stuff. And normally it's behind the scenes and nobody thinks about it, but now we all know. And so I'm kind of taking that companies need help to adapt to a changing world, as you know, and but they need someone that's adept, like me, like Zion, that can come in and solve that problem with them and for them. So that was the idea of the Adapt with the AE, is help companies adapt by putting them with people that are adept.
That's awesome. I'm sending Georgia Jake a little note here. I'm going to do something special at the end of this episode. So, Marty, I feel like we, look at this. Your first podcast, 50 minutes have gone by. It's like, where does the time go? We've covered a lot of ground. Just a great story. We wish you nothing but success. We know it's going to be successful because you're in the relationship business. You're all about connecting people. Your heart, your motto's on how do you make people and companies better. And just I think when you do that, you're blessed with success. And the world chases success sometimes too much without understanding you got to have a purpose and a vision and a mission for that success. So we're living a similar dream over here. As we want to have memorable experiences and guide intelligent change. And we've been blessed with a lot of good customers. And we're just thankful you took some time to meet with us. A little longer episode, but that's okay. I want to do two things. So Jordan, I don't know if you can stay on or not, but I want to do something. We're going to, at the end of it, we'll separate it as a little new piece of content. I'm going to do a TZE extra because I want to hear about what Chick-fil-A's done and maybe anybody else. We'll just have that as a separate piece of content,
Sure.
maybe 5-10 minutes. And we'll
almost like the example.
Yeah, that's good. We're breaking ground here. So we'll wrap this portion of it up, and this will be the end of the podcast. You got any final comments, or Jordan, you got any final comments as we wrap the podcast up?
No, I'll let Marty go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we all want sustainability because we all are sharing this together. And so, we're helping each other when we're making these decisions as companies, as we're making them as individuals. And there's something that feels good about that. And in the day and age we found ourselves, where everybody seems to be at each other's throats, and this is a planet that we all can make better together. And the supply chain is a big part of that. And we can do it in our individual decisions. We can do it in companies like the work Chick-fil-A's done with their lemonade and their styrofoam cups. We can do it in lots of different ways. And so it just fits in, what supply chains are doing every day, and the people are doing to support those supply chains every day.
I love that. Jordan, Did you have something you wanted to end with?
Well, I think it's all great and appreciate it. And I can't stay on for the Chick-fil-A story, so I'll follow up, see what we've got. But no, I think this, again, Marty, thanks for getting on. And I think we could spend a whole nother episode talking about any one of those topics we discussed today. And then we'll figure out
where I am.
Yeah, we'll figure out our shirts. I'm a proponent of getting the large to be the new small. So then you'll be between, a medium and a large. That should be what it is. So
I think we can do a podcast just about that.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up the podcast. If you're still with us, listeners, thank you. We're going to keep on rolling. We're going to have just a moment of silence, and I'm going to go into with Marty on another topic and spend another 5 minutes on it. But thank you, Jordan. If you got to drop off, brother, appreciate it. Yep. And Marty, just hang out with me.
Jordan.
All right, yeah, you too. See you guys.